Hello, and welcome to another edition of The Dumb Donkey Speaks, number 11. Today's subject is going to be the garden. I'm going to start from the non canonized book of The Legend of the Jews, part 2 of 6. The fall of man among the animals. The serpent was notable of all of he had the most excellent qualities, in some of which he resembled the man. Like man, he stood upright upon 2 feet, and in height was equal to the camel. As a matter of fact, it was the very ability of the serpent that led to the ruin of man and his own ruin. His superior mental gifts caused him to become an infidel. It likewise explains its envy of man, especially of his conjugal relations. Envy made him meditate ways and means of bringing about the death of Adam. The serpent was too well acquainted with the character of the man not to exercise tricks of persuasion upon him. So he approached the woman, knowing that the woman was beguiled easily. This conversation was knowingly planned, in which he had with Eve, so she could not but be caught in a trap. The serpent began, quote, Is it true that God hath said that you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? We may, saith Eve, we may eat of every tree of the garden except that which is in the midst of the garden, and that we may not even touch, lest we be stricken with death. She spoke thus because of his zeal to guard her against the transgression of the divine command. Adam had even forbidden her even to touch the tree, though God had only mentioned the eating of the fruit. It remains a truth what the proverb says, better a wall 10 hands high that stands than a wall 100 hands high that cannot stand. It was Adam's exaggeration that afforded the serpent the possibility of persuading Eve to taste the forbidden fruit. The serpent pushed Eve against the tree and said, Thou seest that touching the tree hath not caused thy death. Little will it hurt thee to eat the fruit of the tree. Not, but malevolent has prompted the prohibition, for as soon as you eat thereof, you shall be as God, as he created, as he creates and destroys worlds, so will you have the power to create and destroy, as he doeth slay and revive, so shall you have the power to slay and revive. He himself also ate first of the tree and created the world. Therefore doeth he forbid you to eat thereof, lest you create other worlds. Everyone knows that the artisans of the same guile hate one another. Furthermore, hath you not observed that every creature hath dominion over the creature fashioned before itself. The heavens were made on the first day, and they are kept in place by the firmament made on the second day. The firmament in turn is ruled by the plants, the creation on the third day, for they take up all the waters of the firmament of the sun, and the other celestial bodies were created on the fourth day, have power over the world of the plants. They can ripen their fruits and flourish only through their influence. The creation of the fifth day, the animal world rules over the celestial spheres, but you are masters of the whole creation, for you were the last to be created. Hasten thou now and eat of the fruit of the tree in the midst of the garden, and become independent of God, lest he bring forth other creatures to bear rule over you. To give you weight in these words, the serpent began to shake the tree violently, and bringing down its fruit. And he ate thereof, saying, As I do not die of eating the fruit, so wilt thou not die. But Eve could not but say to herself, All that my master Adam hath told me and commanded me is but lies. And she determined to follow the advice of the serpent. But she could not bring herself to disobey the command of God. Utterly, she made a compromise with her conscience. She first ate only the outside skin of the fruit, and seeing that death did not befall her, she ate of the fruit itself. Scarcely as she finished, she saw the angel of death before her, expecting her death to come immediately. She resolved to take and give to Adam also, lest he espouse another wife after her death. It required tears and lamentations on her part to prevail upon Adam to take the baleful step. Yet satisfied, she gave of the fruit, and he did eat willingly, due to the fact that he would have to be alone again. So as God had planned for the marriage, so a man would leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So did Adam leave his father, and in which was God, to cleave to his wife. The first result of eating the fruit is they became naked before their bodies had been overlaid with this horny-like skin and enveloped in a cloud of glorious light. As soon as they had both violated the command given to them, the cloud of glory and the horny-like skin dropped from them, and they stood there in their nakedness and in their shame. They tried to gather leaves from the trees of the garden to cover their bodies, but they heard from one tree after another say, There is the thief that deceived his creator. Nay, the foot of pride shall not come down against me, nor the hand of the wicked touch me. Go hence, and take no leaves from me. Only the fig tree granted them permission to take of its leaves. That was because the fig tree was the forbidden fruit itself. Adam had the same experience as the prince who seduced one of the maidservants in the palace. When the king, his father, chased him out, he vainly sought a refuge with the other maidservants, but only she who had caused his disgrace would grant him assistance. As long as Adam stood naked, casting about for means of escape from his embarrassment, God did not appear unto him. For one should not strive to see a man in the hour of his disgrace. He waited until Adam and Eve had covered themselves with the fig tree leaves. But even before God spoke to him, Adam knew what was impending. He heard the angels announce, God betaken himself unto those who dwell in paradise. And he heard what the angels were saying to God concerning their fall. And in astonishment, the angels proclaimed, what doeth he still walk in paradise? He is not yet dead. Whereupon God saith, I said unto him in the day that thou eatest, thou shalt surely die. Therefore, you know not the manner of day I meant, one of my days or one of your days, for one of my days are as 1,000 years. I will give him one of my days. He shall have 930 years to live, and 70 he will give and leave to his descendants. When Adam and Eve heard God approaching, they hid themselves amongst the trees as God changed Adam, as his height was reduced. Another consequence of his sins was fear. When he heard the voice of God before his fall, it had not disquieted him in the least. Hence, it was that when Adam said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, it cannot be denied the words, where art thou, was pregnant with meaning, to teach polite behavior, never to enter the house of another unannounced, and to bring home to Adam his latter and former state, between his size then and his reduced size now, between the lordship of God over him then and the lordship of the serpent over him now. At the same God wanted to give Adam the opportunity of repenting from his sins, and he would have received divine forgiveness for it. But so far from repenting of it, Adam excused himself by saying, O Lord of the worlds, as long as I was alone, I did not fall into sin. But as soon as this woman came to me, she tempted me. God said, I gave her unto you as a help, and you ungratefully accuseth her, saying, she gave me of the tree. Thou should have not obeyed her, for you are the head, and not she. God, who knows all things, had foreseen exactly this. This is why he did not create Eve until Adam had asked him for a helpmate, so he would not have apparently good reason for reproaching God with having created the woman. As Adam tried to shift the blame for his misdeeds from himself, so also did Eve. She, like her husband, did not confess her transgressions and pray for pardon, which would have been granted to her, gracious as God is. He did not pronounce the doom upon Adam and Eve until they showed themselves to be stiff-necked. Not so with the serpent. God inflicted his curse without even hearing his defense, for the serpent was a villain. His mouth was closed, and his power of speech was taken away. His arms and his legs were hacked off. The earth were given to him as food. He must suffer great pain in sloughing his skin. Enmity is to be between him and the man, and everything is to turn into dust into his mouth. Men shall seek to kill him as soon as they catch sight of him, even in the future world. He will not escape the punishment due him. He will vanish out of the holy land of Israel, out of the Holy Land, if Israel will walk in the ways of God. Furthermore, thou shalt be cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. I created thee upright posture, but you were not satisfied. Therefore thou shalt go upon thy belly. I created you to eat the same food as man, but you were not satisfied. Therefore thou shalt eat all dust all the days of thy life. Thou didst seek to cause the death of Adam, in order to espouse his wife. Therefore I will put enmity between thee and the woman. How true it is, he that lusteth after what is not his due. Not only does he not attain his desire, but he also then loses everything in which he has. Adam loved Eve more than he loved God, and he disobeyed the command of God to leave and cleave unto her. We are all in Adam through sin and death, but now God offers us his Son, the second and last Adam, Jesus Christ. We can be all in him through belief and have everlasting life. Thank you.